If you put a musician into a great acoustic environment, they automatically will get feedback from that environment and play better.
Orchestral music was considered to be very old-fashioned, but he made orchestras cool again.
The real excitement with working with Hans is the fact that he's very keen to push the boundaries, constantly doing something new.
He's positive. You go, no, 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 oh, I like that.
The percussionists that we're working with today, their musical ability is jaw-dropping. They've done the Bonds, they've done the Harry Potters, the Star Wars.
So we've got 96 microphones set up downstairs, and I think it's probably 96 because there are only 96 channels on the desk.
Each hit has an identity and a commitment behind it. And you hear it, you feel it, and it does something truly extraordinary.
The key thing with Spitfire is that we just felt the way other people were making samples, they were approaching it from a software development point of view, and we didn't see the point of that. We just said, let's just make them exactly the same way as we do with our film scores.
All music relies on technology. A violin is just a bit of good carpentry and some dead cats. I mean, it does involve a certain amount of technology to get you there.
I remember seeing Hans' studio in the late 90s, and it was just astonishing how many of these samplers he had.
That thing that they would write on the box, you know, that you could have a symphonic orchestra at your fingertips, which of course was complete lies because nobody ever could have that, was in a funny way sort of achievable if you just had enough of these samplers and if you had enough time and you started to get some fairly good sounds.
We simply do it the same way, so it sounds like those films. It's recorded in the same room by the same musicians using the same musical instruments. And this is what Hans said, you know, I feel a lot of people are trying to do what I do, so Hans has gone, this is the sound, this is how you do it.
I tried to create these sort of 3D landscapes, basically. And one of the things about that is this is where you place your microphones.
Out in the live area, I have approximately 90 microphones, of which we are using 60 at any given point in time. And I'm trying to do a couple of perspectives, sort of a very close and a not so close, and sometimes a third one as spots. And then we have what we call kind of mid-rooms, which are about 6 to 10 feet away, which just give you the sound with a bit of space around it.
I think the things that make up a great sound is a great performance in a great space with a great recording engineer.
What's really exciting about this library is it's going to be released with a variety of mixes by world-class Grammy-winning engineers and producers. Everybody will take the source material, but they'll put their own twist on it. So, for example, Steve Lipson is going to have a very different sound to Junkie XL. We've got Alan Meyerson is going to have a very different sound to Jeff Foster, and of course Hans has his own sound as well. And I think what Hans wants to demonstrate here is how important mix engineers are, because it will sound totally different.
A lot of times what my job is to take what they've already done and add that sense of dimension or size or sound that takes it to the next level, that makes it feel polished or a little bit more emotional or a little larger than life.
A drum is sort of this interesting, archaic thing, but you know, there are like sweet spots when you hit it just right, and I mean, these guys have been doing it forever.
Well, Hans is very open to suggestions and trying out things, and we all sort of chip in and say, look, why don't you try this with certain sticks or different pitches, etc. And Hans always has a listen. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't mince his words. We know it.
And that's a really good thing. I mean, he's positive.
It's a group effort rather than individuals, and that's the best result.
It's a luxury as well. We don't have time when we perform with the orchestra to try different sounds. It's in the same way, and now we have all day here, and all we're doing is looking for the right sound.
It's really about the human beings that go and create the sound that ultimately will tell you if it's any good. Each hit is treated like a little diamond that needs to be shaped and polished. You can't just crank it out.
He cares about the fact that it feels like a performance. And we do labour to achieve that sometimes in a way that you kind of go, really, it's just a single note. But actually, in his libraries, I think you do get this sense that it's more like a performance than in some others. And Spitfire certainly have embraced that ideology.
Hans is working on a project called Lone Ranger at the moment, and he's working with a particular percussionist on that project, and he got in contact with us and said, guys, how about we get Jason Bonham on the Newman stage in LA and get him to hit some drums for us for this library as well.
It does feel surreal, and it's almost like we're making history right now and doing something new that will be historic in future times. The guy is just an incredible drummer. I mean, it's an honor and a thrill to be able to do this with him.
I play from feel and the heart, and not by reading it or anybody else telling me how to do it. It's what comes from within.
The thing I noticed was that even with all these other drummers around, Jason was just louder. Of course, it's in his DNA.
So today we will go through everything that we possibly can, with gels, without gels, with beaters, with brushes, with... Yeah, I'll have a grey beard by the end of today.
We're hoping that we can change, in some ways, the way that people write music.
It breaks down the wall of music theory and having to study that in order to write orchestral music and work with musicians. And I think that it simply promotes live musicianship. I truly believe that.
Ultimately, at the root of all of this, and the thing that started it and the thing that kind of continues it really still, is that we like to make toys for ourselves. And so part of the excitement of doing this is when you actually get the thing assembled and you can start playing and writing music with it, is an incredibly exciting and thrilling moment.
At the end of the day, what it comes down to is I hear sound in my head and I want to somehow figure out how to manifest the sound into reality.